our performance director always used to say, John Atkinson, control the controllables. That is so powerful. There's a lot of pressure on things that are outside of our control.
Welcome to How to Fail, the podcast that believes that most failures can teach us something meaningful. Given that Ellie Simmonds won 2 Paralympic gold medals at the age of 13, you might ask yourself what she could possibly know about failure. But stay tuned. Born in Derbyshire, Simmonds was adopted when she was 3 months old and grew up in Walsall, the youngest of 5 children. Her family had a swimming pool, and she had an early interest in the sport, eventually moving part-time with her mother to Swansea to take advantage of the city's world-class facilities. Simmonds' sporting success has been astonishing. She went on to win 5 gold medals and set 2 world records in doing so, one for the 400 metres freestyle, one for the 200 metre medley. She has won 10 gold world championship titles, as well as the 2008 BBC Young Sports Personality of the Year award. After retiring from competitive swimming in 2021, Simmonds has gone on to present for BBC Sport, as well as becoming a familiar presence on our screens through shows such as Strictly Come Dancing and, my favourite, Gogglebox. Simmonds, who has achondroplasia, is a person of short stature and has experienced her fair share of discrimination and ignorance. So her decision to embrace a public profile post-retirement has an important underlying motivation. If kids see different types of people growing up, she says, there won't be that staring, there won't be that stigma. Ellie Simmonds, welcome to How to Fail.
Oh, thank you so much. I love how you said achondroplasia right as well.
Did I?
Yeah,
Good.
No, that was amazing. No, that was really, really good. No, but that was wonderful. Thank you very much for the introduction. I'm really looking forward to chatting with you today.
I'm so honoured that you're here. And whilst you are a multiple gold medalist, and we don't have that in common, what we do have in common is that we're both Scorpios.
Oh, yeah.
And your birthday is the day after mine.
Oh, wow.
Different years, vastly different years. And you know who else shares your 11th of November birthday?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Does he?
Yeah.
And Stanley Tucci.
Oh, wow. Oh, he's lovely,
Yeah.
isn't he? Yeah. Oh, wow.
Just charisma central over here. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that quote that I chose to end on, which is your underlying motivation for having a public profile. And you're so brilliant and natural on our screens. But where does that need come from?
I think the need comes from, I just don't want any children to feel uncomfortable or to feel upset with who they are, and especially when they have a disability. So I feel like for me, I've got this incredible opportunity and role now that I could use, hopefully, my platform and use the opportunities that I get on TV to help show that we can do anything, no matter what. So, and you know, TV, media is so powerful. And if you see yourself on TV or similarities on TV and see people just doing everyday things, I think it can help change society and educate in a natural way. So I just don't want children to get those name callings, to get stared at or anything like that. So for me, I feel, in a way, it's like now it's that responsibility, because I know what it's like even sometimes now. You get a few looks, you get a few name calls, and even though people have seen me in the media and seen me on TV, it still happens, and you still hear stories as well about children or even teenagers, adults getting like shouted at, getting name called, getting a bit of abuse, and we hope now that in 2024 that has changed, but there's still definitely a lot of encounters. So I feel like if I could just try and do my little bit so children and people with different disabilities just feel a bit more comfortable in society and feel like there's no nerves to go out and about, then hopefully that I can help play a part.
You say that you occasionally still experience that name calling, and
I think it was like 3 years ago actually, where I remember we were walking and shopping, and this individual was like on his phone to his friend, and he said, "Oh, like look what's in front of us! Look what's in front of us! I'm going to change my camera so you can see." Just things like that, which, to be honest, like it doesn't get to me that much, but I just feel like it does as well. But then I feel like if I'm having that just a little bit, but what's everyone else having as well? I've definitely heard stories from other people with different disabilities that, definitely get a bit of name calling. Again, social media, you always have it, I think, don't you? Like, there's always those ones that say weird things or say not nice things. I feel like there's that protection that they can use with social media, and they're covered by the wall of socials. But hopefully that's a small percentage, you know, and there's still some amazing people out there who reach out and say thank you and congratulate me still on my performances from London 2012. And I'm like, guys, that's 12 years ago now. But still, I think the power of London 2012 and what it did for Paralympic sport and for disabled sport as well, it was life-changing. And now again, we've got the Olympics and Paralympics this year, and especially the Paralympics. I know it's every 4 years, but that power of change, and for people sitting on the sofa, just seeing sport taking place and seeing people with different disabilities doing sports to the elite level, that hopefully, again, it can inspire children that they can do absolutely anything.
What's it like winning a gold medal at 13?
I don't really remember much from Beijing. I wish I could go back and do it all again. I was so young that actually that had a bit of a helping hand in a way, because I think for me, if I was a lot older, I would have taken the pressure more on my shoulders, because I think when you're young, you just think it's like an everyday competition, really. You just go out and you just compete and do the sport that you love, never thinking actually how big of a competition it actually is. Going into those games, there was no pressure, no expectations. It was a shock for me to even qualify. My focus was London 2012. We knew, I think back in 2005, you know, when we saw the exciting songs, you know, the Proud song, and everyone got Seb Coe and David Beckham and Dame Kelly Holmes announced that the games were happening in London 2012. That's when the excitement for me was that, oh yeah, I'd love to go to London, never thinking Beijing. So in a way, as a 13-year-old, I just remember thinking, oh wow, this is amazing, getting a gold medal. I wasn't fully aware until probably London 2012, when the gold medals were happening in front of a home crowd. But I think when you're young, you're just young, aren't you? And you don't really take anything on your shoulders.
Where do you keep your gold medals?
Oh, normally at my parents' house,
Okay.
but sometimes I take my London gold, my Beijing golds, and my Rio golds. I just put them in my wardrobe, and they're in socks in a bag, and I take them like to schools and stuff with me. So when people would like to see the medals.
I want to talk to you a bit about your family, because they sound really special. And you've described it as a family that celebrated differences.
Oh, yeah.
You were the youngest of 5.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about that celebration of differences and what it's like being the youngest of 5.
Me and my mum moved to Swansea when I was 12 years old. To train at the High Performance Centre. And I think if I didn't do that move, I probably wouldn't have made Beijing and the success that I had in London. So I think for me, it was perfect timing. Being the youngest, my next sister older to me was going to her university, so was moving away from home. My other siblings had moved out of home. Yeah, we all have different disabilities, and also all of us are adopted as well. And we've seen, my parents used to foster as well. So we've seen so many different walks of life coming through the house and coming through the door. And I think for me, that's definitely helped me accept who I am, and also being open to talking about adoption and known I've been adopted from such a young age. I can't even remember when they told me, but it's just something we've just been brought up knowing. I think for me, that's helped with being who I am and celebrating who I am. And I think in a way, my personality is I'm very, very competitive, very, very driven. Like my mum is competitive, but I think naturally inside I'm very competitive. So I think having a bit of that in me has helped me with the success in the pool and swimming. But we're very much aware of being who we are, and that you could do anything no matter what. And you might have to adapt, like do it in different ways to everyone else, but you can still get that. And that's definitely been ingrained into me by my parents, Val and Steve.
Your parents sound amazing, amazing people. That competitive nature and your openness about adoption, I know, is so valued by so many people.
Oh, thank you.
You made such an extraordinarily moving documentary about searching, finding your birth mother, and you have reconnected with her.
Yeah.
Would you mind telling us what you discovered about why she put you up for adoption? Because there was a fact sheet, I put that in quotes, that she was given that I found so unbelievably moving in all the
Mm.
most terrible ways. And I can't imagine what it was like for you to find that out. Could you tell us that story?
Yeah. So I went through my journey of finding my birth mother. I'd waited in a way since I retired because I knew when I was an athlete that it can be very emotional in a way, and I didn't want any distractions as well. Throughout this journey that I was going to find my birth mother, I found out that the information that my birth mother got given when I was a baby, so nearly 30 years now, because I'm 30 in November, November the 11th, the day before you. And I found out, that the fact sheet that she got given was that, having a dwarfism meant that job-wise, we're likely to go into the circus. We were not intelligent. We were going to be stupid. We're going to be laughed at a lot. And I think when you're vulnerable, and again, I've never had children, so I don't know, but from my friends and people who I know who've had children, you're in a vulnerable situation. You're exhausted. You're tired. All that type of stuff. For her to, again, she hasn't known anyone with a disability, and then to give this information that your child's different, but this is maybe the way that it's going to be for her. And I know there was lots of other factors for her as well too. So it wasn't just my disability being one of the factors. There was also other things as well going on. It's scary that even 30 years ago, people with a disability and dwarfism were seen like that in society. And that's why I hope that now it changes, and it is changed. It has changed so much, but I think there's still a lot more education that the medical professions and the support system around could do to help people who have found out their child has a different disability.
We'll get onto your failures now, but before we do, I wanted to ask you about language.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed that you say disability and dwarfism.
Yeah.
And I wondered how you felt about those terms. Because I know some people would find them unnecessarily negative.
Yeah, it doesn't label who I am. I'm Ellie at the end of the day, but I do have dwarfism. I am a dwarf, and I do have a disability. And I think those words are educational, and there's nothing against them at all. And I think, again, it's who I am. It doesn't define me, but it's still words that I'm going to get used and that are used. And I think, there's nothing to hide behind them.
I love that, and thank you, because I wanted to be respectful. Let's get on to your failures, because you did a very generous thing. I mean, you can hear, listeners, that Ellie is incredibly compassionate and generous to her core. You gave me 4 failures instead of the requisite 3. So we're going to rattle through them. There's so much to talk about. And I've switched around the order a little bit. But your first failure is your failure to stop putting pressure on yourself, both as an athlete and in work now.
I always want to be better and better all the time. I'm always looking for that next thing. And I do put a lot of pressure on myself, and especially when I was an athlete, but even more now, I think, into this next chapter of life. I knew I was good at swimming, and I knew in a way that was where my talent was. And having medals, I think, helped you realise that actually you're good at it, because when you've got a gold medal around your neck, you're the best in the world. So that gives you naturally a confidence. Whereas now it's like, actually, what actually am I good at? Like, I'm loving all these TV opportunities and things like, you say, Gogglebox and documentaries, and the documentary getting a BAFTA. But actually, I don't know if I'm good at it, and I'm my worst enemy in a way, that I do put pressure. I'm thinking, I'm actually good. I need to work harder. I need to be better. I need to, I'm evaluating all the time. But I think a lot of people do that, don't they, out there, when you sit lying down in bed and you're like, why did I say this? I could have done this better. I could have done that better. I'm definitely one of my personality traits, and it's bad thing, but also a good thing. I'm a worrier. I worry about everything, and the pressure that I put on myself to be the best that I can be now into this work life is tough, and it is. I wish in a way that I wasn't as pressurized on myself, that I wasn't thinking about being better all the time, that I could just. I do enjoy it, not saying that. I'm very thankful for everything I get to do, but just, not have to think that worry in the back of my mind to be better and better and to improve all the time.
I feel exactly the same. And I think sometimes the danger is the comparison with other people. Do you compare yourself with others, or is it a pressure that you put on yourself to exceed your own expectations?
Both.
Yes.
Very much so. And I even did it on Strictly, you know, I compared myself all the time to likes of Molly and Fleur, who are incredible humans, beautiful both on the inside and out. But they're average height, they're non-disabled, they can dance perfectly. But I wanted to dance like them. And I knew I couldn't, but I still wanted to dance like them. And then, now with this thing, I'm always like, I said this wrong, or I said that. They sound amazing, but I'm not sounding good. But I think we all probably do it, don't we, in different aspects? But I know I do. I do it most days, and I try not to. But in a way, I used to do it a lot when I was a swimmer. I had to be always analysing what my competitors were doing, and so I could have my race tactics in place. So I knew that what they were doing in the water, I could use my strengths against them. So maybe it's just a natural progression of when I was a swimmer into this next chapter of life.
Do you think you were competitive by nature before you were a swimmer?
Oh yeah, very, very much so. Always have been. You know, when you play board games with your siblings, or you race at the school sports day, I've always been very, 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 very competitive, even without swimming or without this thing in life. It's just ingrained into me.
And would it upset you if you didn't do well at school sports day or you lost a board game?
Irrationally at the start, yes, it would. But then I'm like, Elle, it's only a competition, you know, it's only like a board game, it's something like that. And the next day I would be fine about it. But at the time I'll be like, very like, oh, you know how, I wouldn't be angry. I wouldn't be like, oh, a sore loser. I'm definitely not one of them. But I would be like upset from the inside, definitely.
You'd internalise it and think you were in the wrong. And I wonder how much of that comes from this need to be as perfect as you can be, given that you were adopted. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like
no,
you're trying to prove someone wrong.
Yeah, and actually, since when going through the whole journey of adoption, I've met with so many charities that actually we've spoke about it, rejection from the word go, you know, having that rejection as soon as you're born and getting put into the care system and then put into fostering and then into families, apparently it does leave a scar in you, which you never really think about, you never really evaluate, but in the back of the mind that rejection is there inside you. So I think, it must be trying to prove something to someone else and inside that actually I'm okay, that I can do it, that I'm always proving myself to someone because of the start. Definitely, that's definitely a factor.
Has that had a knock-on impact with romantic relationships? The reason I'm asking you this is because I see so much of myself in you.
Yeah, I'm very much but again, one of my personalities is that I'm always looking for something else. I'm always looking, the grass is greener on the other side. I'm always looking for that next thrill, that next opportunity, that next high. I'm like, even with when I sit down and chat to my dad a lot, I can never settle in one place. Like, if you think about it, I've moved so many houses, I've moved houses like no other's business. Even when I think I've got a nice house and I love it there, I'm always looking for another house or to move to another place. Like, I'm always looking for something, and definitely that's been a factor in relationships for sure. I'm always just again, I think, it's that confidence though as well, isn't it? Like, I'm always thinking, am I good enough for someone else? Definitely.
I know we've only just met, but I think you're amazing and you're so lovable and perfect.
Oh, thank you.
Exactly as you are. And you're such a natural on TV.
Oh, thank you.
So please don't stop doing it, because we love watching you.
You've got to take who you are and just nourish it and look after it. And I give myself, like, at the moment I'm chocker, but I'm looking forward to having a few days off in the future and just being with friends, being with family and doing things that just puts that energy and battery back in.
I think you are clearly so self-aware and you understand the negatives, but you're right that this sort of motivation comes with a real positive, which is it gives you drive.
Yeah.
Like you're constantly questing, and that's kind of amazing.
Yeah. And that's the thing with personalities and who we are. I wouldn't have got to what I did in my swimming with the achievements of Beijing, London especially, Rio, and then onwards after that. And now in this life, I'm very driven. I love being busy, even though sometimes I love a day off. But it's funny, I love a day off, but then I'm like wanting to work again.
Yeah.
So, but it's, I love being busy and just doing something all the time and working hard.
Given that we've talked about winning, I wonder what it's like when you lose a competitive race as a swimmer. Like, how did you cope with that, and what did you learn from it on the rare occasions that it did happen?
Do you know what? Actually, losing, as I remember my first race I lost at a World Championships was 2015 Glasgow, and I was actually absolutely mortified. I beat myself up so much. I was so upset with myself. But I remember at the time, that's how I was. Very rational, very just showed the emotions, very, very angry, took it out on myself because it was me that did the race and did it wrong. But then the next day, I remember being so motivated and getting my whole team around me, my coach, my biomechanist, my all the other team members, and we sat down, we looked at every bit of my race and every bit of the preparation, and we thought, this is what went wrong, all this type of stuff. And then the next day, when the race had finished and the competition had finished and I had a bit of a time out from the water, I had a break and then got back in. I was so motivated to get back in because I didn't want to feel like that again. And I think actually sometimes when races don't go well or things don't go well, we learn a lot more about ourselves. Because for me, like London 2012, when I had a great successful games, I was on a high all the time and I never evaluated my races because I was just so high. I was so happy with how I was racing. I didn't sit down in any of my races and evaluate with my coach or anything because we were just on a high. We were gone from drugs testing to all the media, to the medal ceremony, to the media afterwards, to all the highs. And then it just flew by and I was just so happy. Whereas the races that didn't go well, I just remember evaluating everything, watching them all the time, looking about how I could improve, all that type of stuff. And those were the races actually I learnt more about my swimming abilities than when races went well.
Do you miss competitive swimming?
No, I don't.
Don't you?
No, I don't. I miss like the high that you get, and I miss like when a training session, when you push yourself through that red zone and your body is an engine and you just give it everything you've got and you're physically, emotionally exhausted, but you're just the high that you get afterwards when it's gone really, really well and you've just pushed yourself to its limits. I miss that. I miss that high. And especially in racing, when you get that high afterwards, it's like a drug. Like it's an addiction. Like you just want to feel on top of the world all the time. You have to sacrifice a lot of stuff. You have to live and breathe your sport. Everything that you do revolves around swimming because say if you walk to the shops, you've got to think about your legs. Are they going to tire your legs out? You've got to think about, can I go out for drinks? Because I didn't drink when I was a swimmer, but what time I'm going to go to bed? Am I going to get a good night's sleep? If I don't get a good night's sleep, I might be tired for training sessions. All this type of stuff, like it's going through your head all the time. I don't miss that because there's a lot of pressure and a lot of sacrifice. And now I can have a drink whenever I want. If I don't sleep that well, yes, it does affect me, but it's not the be all and end all. I can still cope off it. With a lot of caffeine, a lot of espressos, but I'm still okay. I don't miss that, but I miss the team. I miss being with my best friends every single day and the motivation that they bring, being able to travel the world all the time, competing all the time. That whole team thing is definitely, it's like family because you're with each other all the time. You're going through your highs and lows together. You're just like my My teammates who I was when I was a swimmer are my best friends now. We've all retired now, but it's not the same as being with each other every day. Everyone's gone on their different paths of life, but that's what I miss. And representing my country at Paralympics or in a World Championships, the honour that gives.
Do you think that swimming helped you take failure less personally?
Again, swimming is a single sport. Yes, you've got the team around you, but it's still you at the end of the day. It's still your body getting pushed to its limits. So I think for me, failure, I blame it a lot on myself. I'll always try everything. And if I fail, I fail. So I'm not scared of failing. We don't like to fail, but...
No, you don't want to actively pursue it,
Yeah.
but you can deal with it if it comes along.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, let's go back to those early days when you were training as a swimmer in Swansea, because it leads us on to your second failure, which is your failure in your GCSE Welsh.
So I moved to Swansea when I was 12 years old.
And when you say you moved to Swansea, it was you and your mum
Yes.
moved to Swansea during the week and then you would go back home at the weekends.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, no, that's right.
So your dad, Steve, was at home
Yeah.
with older children.
Yeah.
Yes,
So he
okay.
couldn't move as well because of work.
Yeah.
But yeah, a huge sacrifice that they made as a couple, but then also as a family as well.
So you started learning Welsh at school in Swansea then?
I did in year 7, and then had to do it for GCSE as well. So I got a U in GCSE because I loved my time in Wales. For me, Wales has got a big place in my heart. And if I hear a Welsh accent, it just takes me back to those times in Swansea. In my favourite school, Olkfa, I loved my school time. I loved my friends there. We went to the beach all the time, went to Mumbles, Joe's Ice Cream, all that type of stuff. And we had a great training as well. For me, if I could learn Welsh, like I know a few words, but have a proper Welsh conversation, it would just mean that I could just, take me back to Wales and anytime and just speak the language. I remember a lot of my times I was away from school, training, camps, competing, World Series, all that type of stuff. Like I remember doing my GCSEs in a Spanish school because we were training abroad. If I gave more time to my Welsh studies, then I hopefully could have maybe passed and be fluent in Welsh now.
But I think what's so beautiful about this failure is that you wanted to do it to show your love for a particular place because it gave so much to you. And I'm very intrigued to hear you say that your school days were so good, because so many people come on this podcast and have had really tough times at school. But it sounds like it was a very positive experience for you. What was the worst thing about training during those years? Like, what was the thing that would always make your heart sink? You'd be like, oh, I've got to do this bit.
Diving in to the cold when it was especially winter time. But then also what I really found hard was because I trained from like 6 till 8, I had to go straight from training to school, and my hair was always so wet and smelt of chlorine. And you know, when you're older in school, you can do your hair and the makeup really nicely. I was never able to do that because I was going from training to school. So in a one thing, growing up, I wish that I had more time to look nicer. But school was definitely, I just used to put my hair up in a bun because I was just like, I've got wet hair. Like I'm about to swim in the afternoon as well. I didn't put makeup on or anything, and I wish, I could give myself a bit more time to look a bit nicer.
Okay.
And smelling the chlorine and the wet hair is definitely the thing I don't miss.
Would you tell me a bit about your older siblings and what you feel you learned from being the youngest of that group?
Yeah, so we've very much got a big age gap. I'm 30 now to my next sister Katie being 34, 35. And then my brother is turning 40. Then my next sister is 50. And then my sis Georgina, who sadly passed away in 2013, she was like 45. But we very much...
sorry.
Oh, no, it's all right. We've all very much got a big age gap. What I learned from them really is just, again, I missed a lot of childhood growing up because I was away all the time with being an athlete. I think that's one of the biggest regrets. It's definitely, we're not as close as probably siblings should be.
Do you mind my asking what happened with Georgina?
Oh, she died in 2013 due to a heart problem. So again, we're all adopted, and one of her genetics things was heart problem, and sadly it got to her in 2013.
when people ask you how many siblings you have, is that a difficult question?
No, not really, because I still have 5 siblings, and she'll always be someone to remember. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you,
Yeah.
Ellie.
Oh, no, it's all right.
We've got 2 failures now to choose from
yeah,
because
2.
of your generosity. Which shall we go for? Let's go for your failure to sleep.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Are you a terrible sleeper?
I'm very much a terrible sleeper. So if anybody has any help with sleeping, but I've always been, even when I was younger, apparently my parents said I just never slept. And even now, and even when I was an athlete, especially in like Tokyo or when there was races that were really, really tough, I probably only slept like 2 hours a night. I think again, with one of my other failures, I think a lot. I'm always worrying. So sleep time is very much that time when my brain is just alive and I just think about absolutely everything. And especially when work's heightened and I've got a lot of work going on, I have to think about absolutely everything, and I worry about what do I have to wear for this, saying the wrong thing, trying to fit everything in. Now I've realised that I'm trying to make sure that gym is a priority, or doing exercise, because again, that helps me mentally. So trying to make sure I can fit gym in. There's so much going on that's when it comes alive at night. I know in a way, I shouldn't be, but I'm jealous to those people that when they've got so much going on, they just shut off and can sleep, because that's just not me. So sleep time is definitely limited, very much so.
It also must have been incredibly stressful when you had a big competition and you couldn't sleep the night before.
Yeah.
Because then you're worried about not sleeping.
I think in a way it helped that I've always known I wasn't a good sleeper, and I never used to sleep much when I race. So it wasn't a worry because it was just norm. And I knew that adrenaline could get me going. So throughout those 11 days at the Paralympics, I'll be all right. That afterwards it would kill me. I would be exhausted. But during the whole moment, I knew that it was just a thing that I used to do, and it was just a norm.
And do lots of well-meaning people give you advice all of the time? And they're like, oh, switch off your phone,
yeah,
have a bath and read a book.
All that type of stuff.
Is that annoying?
It's nice because they're looking out for me. Being okay with it and being aware that that's actually how I am, then I feel okay the next day and I know that I can do it. Normally 4 or 5 o'clock, that's the time where I'm just like, I need to stop. But I think everyone feels that, don't they?
I think the recurring theme throughout this conversation is self-acceptance. And I think that's a very beautiful way of putting it. You sort of know yourself, and therefore you're not going to put unnecessary pressure on yourself to be different.
Yeah.
There's an acceptance there.
Yeah, no, very much so. And I think, again, having a disability and being different, I know what it's like to accept who I am. And hopefully maybe when I'm older I can sleep for England.
Exactly.
That'll be amazing.
You can be a competitive sleeper.
Yeah, no, literally, I'd love that.
Your final failure actually kind of wraps up a lot of what we've been talking about, which is your failure to live in the moment.
Yeah. For me, very much when I was an athlete, I was always like, say a championship had just finished, done really, really well. We're always looking at the next thing. We know we're getting 2 weeks off, then we're back in training, ready to train for the next championships or the next competition. We've got that 4-year plan. We've got that year plan. We've got that week plan. We've got that day plan. Being in that moment, just soaking it all in, is just one of the things that I would love to do more and more. And I'm getting better as I'm getting older. Every moment of London 2012 Olympics and Paralympics just flew. And I wish that I could just stop for a sec in every single day and every moment and just take it all in. I've got photos and they're great memories, but sometimes just like looking at the sky, what's the colour of the sky, or what's someone wearing, or just those little memories that sometimes you remember when you stop. I just wish I could do that. And like I said, I'm getting better and better, but still I'm always looking at that next goal and next task, even now in this work mode life.
How are you feeling about turning 30?
It's only a number and I'm trying to think that, but I'm always like, I don't really want to be 30 because I remember like when I was younger, I looked at 30-year-olds and they looked like they had a job, they had everything, and they looked old. And I don't feel
Ellie,
old.
I'm 45.
So you definitely don't look 45.
You're very sweet.
But do you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
30-year-olds, when you're young, you always think 30-year-olds are very much like they've got everything together and they've got their life is planned out and everything, where my life is definitely a roller coaster, and it's got some great opportunities, but it's definitely not planned out. I think I'm going to go to Australia to celebrate it because I'm working over there, so I'm going to extend the trip and stay over there because I love traveling. It's one of my hobbies.
I can remember when I was turning 30, and my fear was no one would ever think I was young to be doing what I was doing again.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't at your level in any way, shape or form in life, but I was like a young journalist, and people were kind of like, oh my gosh, can't believe you were born in 1978. That sounds so ancient now. And I thought, oh, I'll never get that again. And actually, that wasn't true, number one.
Yeah.
But number two, there is such a sense of agency and relief that comes from actually turning 30 that it ends up being really empowering.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people have said to me. And a lot of people have said that actually you know who you are, but you can still do stuff that you did in your 20s, but you've definitely got that air of confidence and knowing that you're okay.
Yes, exactly.
So...
And you were talking there about how when you were competing, there was always a plan. And I wonder how much you have a long-term plan now. Like, where do you see yourself in 10 years' time?
You know, I am the total opposite to me what I was as an athlete. Like, every day is totally different, and I love that.
You've spoken a bit about your love of travel, and I know that after Rio you took a year out. You had a gap year, basically.
No, I did. Yeah.
And went travelling. And I really would love to know more about that. Where was the most amazing place you visited? Where did you feel most at home?
Oh, I love Vietnam. I love the coffee and the food there and the travels that we had. And then I loved, my favourite ever country is Madagascar.
I've been to Madagascar.
Oh, isn't it amazing?
Yes, the lemurs.
Literally beautiful, like both the beaches and the beauty and like the whole experience. I went with my friend Hanley and she did a trip with ocean conservation and stuff, and I just had the best 2 weeks, and I thought it was just wonderful. Again, I know probably a lot of people say it, but Australia as well. I love Australia. I know it's quite similar to the UK. I love the vibe, and I love the outdoorsy feel, but again, it feels a bit like you're at home as well.
What do you think travel has taught you about yourself?
Being okay on my own, definitely. Being very independent, I know that getting flights all the time, where I'm going to stay, booking hotels, the spontaneity, and just, the confidence of being sitting at a coffee shop on my own. Like, I love doing that abroad.
I was about to ask you if you went for dinner on your own when you travel.
Yeah, I do sometimes. Yeah, definitely.
Is there an element of uncertainty because different cultures have different attitudes to disability?
Yeah, exactly. Like, some of the countries actually, like, say Vietnam, Thailand, I went with my friends, so I wasn't. But like Madagascar, the first week I was on my own. There's very much, you see the difference. But a lot of countries I found are just lovely. Like, I went to the Caribbean islands and so friendly, so welcoming, so supportive. In Beijing, I was travelling on my own, and I found that a bit uncomfortable being out there on my own. Maybe being a woman, maybe being British, having a disability, all those factors. But yeah, that was probably the most time I felt uncomfortable.
As you're talking, I just feel that you sound like someone who is fearless. That you're really courageous.
I do get nervous a lot though.
Do you? But do you feel fear much?
Do you know, my fear is being out of control. Like, even planes now, I get nervous for going on planes, which I never ever used to. And even sometimes at the end of my career going into Tokyo, I used to fear stuff in the water, like the depth of the water being 3 meters. I used to hate that. I used to be able to get scared that it was too deep in the water, but I've never felt like that before. Even Tokyo, the training blocks were red, where we used to always train in blue. And the different colour, it just got to me mentally. So I think as I've got older, there's definitely a lot more things that have definitely got to me and I'm scared of and I'm more nervous of than when I was younger.
Yeah, I'm more scared of flying as well.
Yeah.
I completely relate. I had hypnotherapy for it,
Oh,
particularly
did you?
turbulence. I can't.
Is turbulence what get you?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Wow. Is it like just the motion or?
Yes, it's what you said about being out of control and suspended midair.
Yeah.
And also I think there's something about the altitude that makes me feel really emotional anyway. So I'm always crying at like mediocre films.
They say that though, don't they? That like
Yes.
being in the area, you're more emotional. Alcohol gets to you more as well.
Yes, I know. What are we going to do, Ellie?
Yeah, no, literally. I know, and that's one of the things that I love traveling, but I always get so nervous before a flight. Like I always ask like people to voice message me so I can listen to voice messages to try and distract me or just try and talk to people. I'm like the most chattiest on flying because I try and like hope that my people next to me want to talk and not want to settle down so that I could try and distract my mind.
I promise to talk to you anytime I find
thank
myself
you.
next to you on a long haul flight. I want to thank you so much for coming on How to Fail.
Thank you.
You know what I wish for you? Just a big long rest.
Oh, thank you.
I just want you to have like a proper holiday.
Yeah.
Because you deserve that. Maybe that's
thank
what you should do for your 30th. I know you're going to be in Australia.
Yeah.
You are such an inspiration. I don't use that word lightly.
Oh, thank you.
And you are such a pure bolt of good energy.
Oh, thank you.
And it's been a real pleasure talking to you today. And our lucky listeners get even more of you if they subscribe to Failing with Friends, because you're about to answer their questions, their problems and their failures. So you're staying for that bit, aren't you? Thank you so much for coming on How to Fail.
Thank you.
We heartily recommend you follow us to get new episodes as they land on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. Please do tell all of your friends. This is an Elizabeth Day and Sony Music Entertainment original podcast. Thank you so much for listening.